Hello, welcome to Coding Class with MasterHun. This is episode 14. And I wanted to apologize for the delay. First off, I want to explain that I'm using I forget what it's called. It's the free software that comes with Windows 10. It's the Xbox game recorder or something. I don't know. I forget exactly what it's called. But it's part of the Xbox game platform. So what it is, it's software that allows you to record games that you play on Windows 10. But it has several limitations. It doesn't allow video in video, so you can't use the webcam, even though most laptops come with a webcam. So the software does not allow you to record the webcam. It does allow you to record not your desktop, but it allows you to record an app, and it's specifically designed for you to record gameplay. So you would be playing a game, so you're inside one app. So it's not designed for you it's not a desktop screen recorder. I wanted to show you what a basic web development environment would be, which is basically it's just a text editor or a code editor plus your web browser. But that would mean that but this free software, the Xbox game software that comes with Windows 10 for free, which is good, right? Because I'm cheap. I like free things. It's not really free. I paid for it. I mean, when I bought the laptop, it came with Windows 10 Home, whatever. But anyway, so it doesn't allow you to switch back and forth. Now you see, you're seeing me now. I can switch now because I have the Chrome browser open, the Google Chrome browser open. I can switch from tab to tab, right? But I can't switch from Chrome to another app, and I can't show you the desktop. So it's free, but it has limitations. For example, right now I'm looking at, you can't see it because it's not being recorded by the software. I can actually go to a different app and look at it on my Windows 10 laptop. It's a Lenovo 330. Celeron. I can see it. For example, I'm seeing my episode notes, and it says, I'm looking at this page, it says Season 0, Episode 14, title, What is HTML, Part 2. Show Coding Class with MasterHun, posted today, December 4th, 2019. And then it has a short description of what I'm going to cover. What are tags? What is a web page? What is a text or code editor? What is a basic web development environment? What is responsive web design? You can't see that. I can only see it because this Xbox game screen recorder only is designed to record. It only locks onto one app or one game per se. But anyway, so I'm not able to show you how you would switch from a text or code editor to a web browser. So that's what I wanted to do. So that would be what a basic web development environment would be. It would be where you get a chance to basically very basic front-end web development environment when you can get a chance to learn and practice and code, do HTML, hypertext markup language. You could do CSS, cascading style sheets, and do JavaScript. JavaScript that you run locally from the web page, not from a backend, not from a web server, but JavaScript that you run in the web browser itself. So, but I'm not able to show you that. I have to do something else entirely. I have to do it I have to kind of do it in a different way. So I apologize for that. So that's what I have here. Okay, so in this example, I have SoloLearn. I'm inside the SoloLearn code playground. and I've been last couple of weeks I've been doing a greeting card online or e-greeting card or e-card project for some of my students. And here we can see this is the HTML, the hypertext markup language. And then if I click on this tab, then we can see the CSS, the cascading style sheets file. It's not actually a file, but you want to think of it as a file. And also then we would have, there's nothing in it here right now. I'm not planning on having anything. It may do it in the future. This would be the JavaScript file. Okay. So obviously, the analogy that I use is that the HTML is like the house, the walls, the roof, the basement, the walls, interior walls, outer walls. It's all the windows. So HTML, think of HTML as a structure. It creates the structure of the web page. CSS, and of course it contains the contents. The CSS is like the wallpaper and the paint outside, and the paint that you paint the house on the outside and inside, and the decor, moldings, statues, I guess, if you want. Maybe you have statues outside or on the house, in the house, outside the house. Okay, so this would be CSS. Think of that as the decorations. It makes the house look pretty. And then JavaScript, although this house doesn't have any JavaScript. So anything in the house that actually does something, like the lights, the security system, the refrigerator, the gas oven, electric range, the plumbing, AC, the heat, the garage door, the automatic garage door opens and closes. What else? Washing machine and dryer. So anything in the house, refrigerator, right? Anything in the house that actually does something, right? Performs a function, an action, right? It does something. It's animated. It comes alive. Okay, let's say. Then so JavaScript would be that. It would like behaviors, actions. Okay. HTML is the structure of the house. CSS makes the house look pretty, and JavaScript is the part of the house that actually does things, makes the house come alive. Okay, so that's the way you want to kind of think of this. Okay, so this is a very basic. This would be a very basic. Obviously, it's a very basic, what we would call a front-end web development environment. It's all encapsulated in this one web page. Okay, not something you would use, not something a professional would use. This is very basic. Well, if I wanted to create a e-greeting card, right? Yeah, it's fine. I wanted to test out the HTML, the CSS, and JavaScript for this e-greeting card. Yeah, it's fine, perfectly fine, because it's one page. It's only one page, and it's not really doing that much, right? I'm just testing it out, make sure everything works. Okay, so let's see here. Okay. Oh, by the way, I don't know if can you see this, but there's all these divs. Can be kind of confusing, because what are all these divs, right? Div. Div is the div tag is what we call it's divisions. But what does that mean, right? What does that mean? Div, right? Div. So what it is that the div tag allows the web designer or the web coder, the div tag, right? The div tag allows you to section off. It's a section right here, right? Oops. It's a section of the HTML document. Okay. The web HTML document, cut it up into different pieces. And why do you need to do that? Because you're going to apply because you're going to apply styles, different CSS attributes. You're going to apply CSS stylings to these different sections in the HTML. Okay. The div tag. Okay. The div tag defines a section, division or section in an HTML document, right? Okay, here you go. The div element is often used as a container for other HTML elements. Right here, like I said, to style them with CSS or to perform certain tasks with JavaScript. That's I may or may not be doing that in this mini series, but just like I said, the div tag. What is this div tag all about, right? Okay. So so we have a div, right? Div. Now, how do we tell one div or one section from another? Right? We need to use so in this example, we're using these. It's a class, right? Or you can just think of it as it's a kind of identifier, right? Kind of an identifier. Because when we go into the CSS, right? So in this HTML, right, we have this class. Now I'm sorry. Let me backtrack a little bit. Now, typically, so the advantage of having HTML and CSS in separating them out and having them in two different files is that it allows you to it makes life easier for the web developer and the web designer. It allows you to separate the structure of the house with the decorations. Okay, so the task of structuring the house, to making the structure of the house the way you want it to be, and then how you want the house to look like, how to make the house pretty, you separate that out. So it's not all jammed into one really long, complicated file. So you're separating those two tasks. You're separating the HTML, the structure of the house, and the stylings you put on top of the house, inside and outside and top of the house. You separate them out. It makes life easier for the web developer or the web designer. Okay. So the thing you have to understand is that, okay, so how do we connect your HTML with the CSS file, right? Now in this example, actually, the CSS file, the main CSS file, it's a CSS framework actually, and it's provided by W3 Schools. It's provided by W3 Schools for free. It's for free. And if I can find this thing, where is this CSS? I don't know where it is. Oh, here we go. So it's a pre-made CSS. What we call modern responsive CSS. So it's done a lot. So basically, does a lot of frameworks and libraries. What's the advantage of frameworks and libraries? They do a whole bunch of it's a canned code. Okay, so although CSS is not coding, but code in the sense that it's code. It's a markup language, a style code, right? But it's not actually coding language. So hope I haven't confused you. So the CSS, all these stylings are pre-made, so you don't have to waste a lot of time reinventing the wheel. So you can just use you can download it and put it into your web server or into your own local web development environment, or you can just point to their file online, which is what I'm doing right here. I'm pointing, right? If you go to if we look at line 6, right? I'm pointing href, right? I'm pointing to their website and to their w3.css framework. Okay. So because I'm pointing to this pre-made CSS, so there saves me a lot of time, a lot of work. And then all I have to do is I just have to select, the different stylings in that CSS file, and then it will get applied to my web page here, and then make it all look nice and pretty. Okay? So this class is basically telling the web browser to go, okay, I'm sorry. So this link tag is telling the web browser where my CSS file is, which is actually a framework. And then these class attributes, right? This class attribute is telling the web browser which part of that CSS file, the stylings in that w3.css file, which ones to use and apply to the web page. Okay? Otherwise, we would have to have one huge long web page file, HTML file, with so much stuff in it that it's really hard to understand. Okay? So the bigger the web page and more stuff you have in it, cram inside of it, the harder it is for a human being to understand. Okay? The computer can understand it, right? The software can understand it. That's not the problem, it's the human beings. How do you get the human beings to understand it? Okay? So on the left side here, this is what an HTML file looks like, right? So this creates the structure of the web page. The CSS file. Now this is additional information that helps to add more stylings, more decorations to your web page. Typically here, there would be another, this file here is not this file. This CSS file is not this file. Actually, what would happen regularly if you weren't using this online web development environment, there would be you would have to have another link tag pointing to the CSS file. Okay, so this is another set of CSS or stylings. Excuse me, attributes. Now I want you to look at this here. Oh, and by the way, this would be how we define a class. .bgmg. Let me CSS. So when you ever see that dot notation, that dot notation tells you, oops, that dot notation tells you that it's a class. That's what we call a class. Can I find it here? Okay, selectors. Okay, we can do. Okay, so if you can see that this dot notation, right? This dot notation in CSS, that indicates a class. Okay, that indicates a class. I'm sorry, it might not make a lot of sense right now, but it indicates a class. So this dot background, that's a class. Okay, and okay. Okay, so this is this attribute, CSS attribute, it tells CSS where the background image is. Okay, so this is okay. Let's go. So let's look at. I'm sorry. I just want to quickly go over the CSS syntax. CSS syntax, right? So we have the selector, right? We have a selector, and then we're going to have a property. We're going to have a property, and then we're going to have a value. And we can have more than one set of property and values, or what you could call a declaration, and they're separated by semicolons. And then everything is encapsulated inside of curly braces. Okay? We have a selector, we have curly braces here, we have semicolons to separate the different attributes. Okay, we have a property, colon, value. Okay? Doesn't make a lot of sense in the beginning, but just wanted to quickly go over that with you. Okay? So we have this property, right? Okay? Go right, property. The property that we're setting is the background image. Okay? And this is the class, this here is the selector, right? This is what we call the selector, okay? Or you can think of it as an identifier, right? And then this is the value, and it's a universe resource locator or web address, right? And so this is the web address that we're telling it. So this will tell the web browser where to get this photo, okay? Because this photo is not local. It's not on this is not a photo that's, I'm not pointing to a photo that's on my laptop. And it's not on the SoloLearn website. It's actually on Wikipedia. It's on Wikipedia. It's from Wikipedia, okay? And then we have other attributes. Tells it how to, okay? So that's important to know, right? And then here, right, we have, this would be actually where our content is, right? This content, right? We have heading, H1 heading, right? This is the H1 heading, right? And then let's say, if I wanted to change this, right? I could change it, let's say if I change it to Happy Holidays, right? Happy Holidays. Holidays. Happy Holidays. Right? Then I have to hit this run button to, re-render. Okay, look, now it says Happy Holidays, okay? I'm going to change it back to Merry Christmas. So between these, so this H1, it stands for heading H1, heading H1 heading tag, okay? And then between these two tags, then I put in the content, right? Putting in the content. Merry Christmas, okay? I changed it back to Merry Christmas. And now okay, it's changed back to Merry Christmas, okay? Okay. Now I want to go back and now I want to talk about responsive web design. What is responsive? What is the responsive web design all about, right? What's that all about? So the thing you have to keep in mind that we live in a world where in the beginning, in the late 1990s, early on, with the internet, first we had to have computers, then we have the internet. And when the internet first came out, people didn't have tablets or smartphones. We just had desktops. Most people people were surfing the internet, surfing the information superhighway on desktops. Okay, but we don't live in that world now, right? The websites, not all websites, because there's still a lot of old websites. They haven't changed. But today we live in a world now where your website has to be responsive. Whether it's a desktop, tablet, or smartphone, the website needs to adjust so that the user can see all the pertinent information without having to zoom in or having to squint at tiny, tiny, tiny text. Okay? So responsive web design basically means that your website is able to display properly on tablets and smartphones. And because if your website it's hard, if you make it hard for tablet users and smartphone users to be able to read your website, well then they're just going to bounce. They're just going to go somewhere else. And you don't want that, right? To visit your website and stay as long as possible. You don't want to give them a reason to bounce, okay? You don't want to create friction, okay? So basically the responsive basically means that your web pages will adjust accordingly depending on the size of the display that the user has. Okay, and then how do you get that to work? Well, basically, if we look at line 5, right, this incomprehensible gibberish here, right? What does all this mean, right? Right? Meta, name, viewport, content, blah blah blah. What does that mean? Well, you don't really have to understand this, but you have to just know that this line 5, this HTML code, this tells the web browser to adjust the web page so that it will display properly. So that's all you have to understand. This is the magic here. This is real magic. It makes your web pages responsive. Okay, you have to understand. This is not all of it. This is not all responsive web design. There's more to it, but this is really important. Okay, it's really important. Let me see if I can go to the okay. What is the viewport? Okay, so basically, we saw that on line 5, and basically this is the same thing, right? This is the same line, right? This comes from HTML5, right? This comes from HTML5. So this page, if you go to w3schools.com, and you just go to the responsive web design section, and then it'll explain give you all the technical explanations of what it does. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. Okay. So I'm sorry. I was supposed to tell you what tags are. An HTML file is basically, it's all text. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, although there's nothing in this JavaScript file. They're all text files. It's all text, nothing special. You can use any basic text editor, whether on Mac or Windows or Linux, and you'll be able to actually edit and change code, design, HTML web pages, HTML files, CSS files, JavaScript files. Nothing special about them. So what does the HTML file consist of? It consists of excuse me. It consists of tags. Okay, most of these tags have a opening and ending tag. Okay, so let's say line 2 and line 25. Those are the HTML tags. Those are actually defines the HTML file. Now, if we look at line 3, right, we have the opening and closing or starting and ending tags. This is the title tag. Okay, it tells the web browser what to put into the title. Or the title would be this thing here, right? These are the titles. Okay. Now some tags only there's no closing tag. It's just one. It's just an opening tag. There's no closing tag. Okay. Now, oops. Now, if we look at line 7 and oops, I don't know why that is. If we look at line, can you see line 7 and 8? If you can see, let me see. Is this any better? I don't know. If you look at line 7 and 8, this is where you can put in CSS stylings. Okay, you would put it in between here. Okay, here in between here. Okay. Now the body, we have this body, right? This body, right? This is the body of the web page, right? Okay. Now I showed you I showed you the H1 tag, right? H1 tag, line 15. There's an opening and closing H1 tags. Okay. And in between those tags, you would put in the content of the web page. In line 15, the content is the text "Merry Christmas." Okay, HTML, it consists of a whole bunch of tags. Tags usually have an opening and a closing. Usually it comes in pairs, opening and closing. But some tags don't. They they're just tags, just include just one tag. There's no closing tag. It's just one. For example, line 6, it's a link tag. There's no closing tag. It's just one tag. Okay. So this whole thing here is what we would call a code editor. Okay, but it's really a text editor. It's nothing more than a text editor, really, right? Because it's all text. Okay. CSS file, it's all text. JavaScript files, it's all text. This, of course, this one is empty. Okay, it's all text. Okay, so if you register, again, SoloLearn is free. You can learn to code for free. You can code inside SoloLearn. It's free. It does require registration. Okay, I am a premium member, but you don't have to be a premium member. Most of the features are available for free, but you do have to register to use. Okay, I'm quickly going to finish up here, and I'm just going to show you this. I want to just show you this web page. HTML. What it's called? Actually, the web page is called HTML. Let me go back. Okay. If you just go to Google, so how do you find this web page? So you just go to HTML. Just Google HTML. Oops, let me just change it. You just Google HTML cheat sheet. Okay, just Google HTML cheat sheet, and it'll be the first thing. It's the web page is called htmlcheatsheet.com. Okay, you just go there, and then it's a combination editor and cheat sheet reference guide, and it also has templates. Okay, it has templates, so you can do HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so the website is called htmlcheatsheet.com, and let's say you wanted to edit some HTML, and it comes with a WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. It is limited though, so this is the demo version. If you become a if you go with their premium plan, it allows you to edit really long, the limitation is 300 lines. So with the demo version, you can't go past 300 lines of HTML code. But it's a good place to start and just kind of practice learning HTML. Okay. But primarily, you could take advantage of it as an online cheat sheet. Okay. So you can copy and paste and test things out. Okay. So yeah, I think it's definitely you want to bookmark htmlcheatsheet.com. And of course, don't forget to bookmark w3schools.com. Okay. Does not require any registration. It's an online reference and has free tutorials. Okay. You can learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SQL, Python, PHP, so much. It's amazing how much stuff they have here you can learn. Okay, for free. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. This was episode 14, season 0. What is HTML? Part 2. And I will probably do at least one more. I'm probably going to do at least 1 or 2 more episodes in this mini-series, parts in this mini-series. Thank you, and wishing you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Bye-bye.